Yeah, this is different view actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Our invoices.
The IN012, right? That's the one.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
That's 10,000 and yeah, minus. So tell me
Uh,
something. So
yeah,
when we give, see, you're giving credit memo as negative amount. You're
yeah.
giving debit memo as negative amount. So every time it'll only subtract, right? How do you know whether it is adding
No, this will not add. This will only subtract.
both debit and credit?
Yeah, yes, correct. So if you see in receivable, so receivable it will be different treatment, but
Okay,
in
that's what
payable,
I got confused because in receivables it's different. So I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So payable, what will happen is that uh, customer will raise what do you call the negative amount. So that we call debit memo. When it is raised by supplier, we call this as a credit memo. But whereas
Okay.
in receivable, we will have either it is positive or negative. But here, both are in
Mhm.
negative.
So tell me why a supplier would, what circumstances would a supplier raise a credit memo and what circumstances does a customer raise a debit memo in AP?
Yeah, I mean, this is like either way.
Just give
Like,
me some example.
okay, so let me take this one. So we have ordered for 10 quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the process starts from purchase order. So in
Mm.
purchase order, we agreed with the vendor that this will be delivered with the unit price of 1,000. So by mistake, user has used the same rate, that is 1,100. So 1,100 is giving for all other customers, but we are
Okay.
prioritized customers, so he needs to give it for 1,000.
Uh-huh.
So by mistake or maybe the system error, so it has generated the usual rate, that is 1,100.
Okay.
So for this case, what this vendor will do is that he will raise an credit memo for 1,000. I mean,
Okay. Got it.
100.
Okay.
So this will be one part, and the other
Mm-hmm.
side. So let's say we have ordered for 10 quantities.
We paid more.
No, like we ordered for 10 quantities,
Mm-hmm.
and customer has delivered. I mean, the vendor he has delivered full quantities.
Mm.
So what we will do is that either the one option is that we will return it, or we will make this as an credit memo to adjust it.
Okay.
Or the other scenario might be this way, like it has been overbuilt, but supplier didn't know that it has been overbuilt, but
Mm.
accounts guy. So he basically
Mm.
analyzed with the purchase order, because
Mm-hmm.
in Oracle it will tell us, like if we are matching with the purchase order, it will tell
Mm-hmm.
that this is the unit price that we agreed, and this is the unit price that when we receive this particular quantity as the item, and
Mm-hmm.
this is the price that we are seeing it in the invoice.
Mm-hmm.
So for this case, what he will do is that he will match the particular purchase order, and
Mm-hmm.
after matching, he will create an debit memo, and he will knock off the remaining 100 or whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the two scenarios that we can get, possibly the debit memo or credit memo.
Okay. So we need to keep in mind is that in AP both are negatives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the reports that you usually run in AP? What are the most common ones?
Common ones are like we will run invoice register, and then we will have the payment register, and we will have the payable trial balance report, and then we will have the subledger exception report, and then we will
Mm.
have this vendor balance report, and then the normal create accounting report. So this will be mostly used.
Okay. So invoice register, when do you use that?
So if I have some reconciliation issue, or if I wanted to understand maybe in a given period how much invoice is being punched in, so I'll run this particular invoice register and I'll verify it. So mostly invoice register is used for reconciliation purpose. Like if my payable data is not matching with the GL data, so that is
Mm-hmm.
when I will run this invoice register, payment register, and then I'll try to identify the difference between the payable and GL.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly that is when we will do it. But apart from that, we will not have specific scenarios that we will run the invoice register. So there
So
are only,
won't your yeah, but won't your trial balance give you that difference? You said there's some payable trial balance, right?
yeah, yeah. So payable trial balance will include even the invoices part. So
Mm-hmm.
if we wanted to see the detailed item of each invoice, so that is when we will
Uh,
come to this part.
Register.
And yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the next thing that I planned is this one only, the payable trial balance.
Okay.
So these are the basic reports that we will run.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from that, inside farm itself, we will have this report called this one, payables to this one, ledger reconciliation.
Oh,
Yeah, so we will just click this one, and I'll run for this OU.
నేను మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడతా క్లాస్లో ఉన్నా.
I think we used only one account, so that is,
Everything is showing in one. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, correct. Because this is what we saw in the vendor balance. So it is
Mm-hmm.
39,900. Maybe I'll check. Yeah. So this is what this is the only account we used.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why this is showing only in this particular account.
Okay. So we were trying to run it from the whatever, right? From the other page, you couldn't run it.
Yeah, so those should populate the parameters, but that is not populating the parameter. So I came to this one, the schedule process, and I ran from here.
So if you were taking the request ID, right? What is the
Yeah,
request? Okay, the process ID is the request ID number.
yeah, correct.
Okay. So that is what you're supposed to give in the second column in that page.
Yeah,
Okay. And you
that
have
is request
to,
name actually, not ID.
not the ID, just
Yeah,
the request name.
yeah.
So which means you have to first submit a program and then go run that?
No, it's not like that. Like if we want to see it on the same page, we can see it from there, but the values are not populating correctly. So that's why I came here and I ran the report.
Okay. But normally when you go there, right? Let's say you selected your ledger.
Yeah,
And once you select your ledger, what do you give in the second column? You said the request name.
yeah, name.
And what usually comes up in the request name?
We will have this one, this name, payable, I mean the trial
Oh,
balance.
okay. Okay, the name of the report. Okay.
Yeah, but that is not happening, so I ran it manually from here.
Okay.
Yeah, and apart from that, we have subledger exception report as well. So maybe I'll, I'll run that also. Yeah. So this is our exception report. So if you
Mm-hmm.
see here, so we will have it for the payables and we will have the for it receivable. So in payable we have two exceptions and in
Mm-hmm.
receivables we have one exception. So details
Mm-hmm.
of it we can see it from here. So in EBS if you see, so this will
Mm-hmm.
be two different reports. So one is for the payable and the other one is for the receivable. But
Mm-hmm.
here in Fusion, it is for the with one report we can check for the payments
Both.
and receipts. Yeah, for both.
Okay. So which
So
there if you say it is receivables, right? Journal source, which means Though we haven't, let's say, assume that I haven't set up anything in receivables, still will I still see something related to receivables?
No, we will not see.
We will not see. Only if it is set up. Okay.
Yeah, only if it is set up and only when there is exception.
Okay.
So exception in the sense, exception we can say multiple ways. One is invalid account, or mapping is missing, or unprocessed, or
Mm-hmm.
if it is in hold,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe the parent transaction is not accounted, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
sequence is missed. All those things will come under this one bucket called exception report.
Okay.
So since our case we have only unprocessed exception, so we have only this thing. So apart from
Mm-hmm.
that, we will have the other part as well. And if
Okay.
we wanted to filter maybe only for payables,
Mm-hmm.
so this is only the test environment. So we will have only few transaction inside it. But
Mm-hmm.
in real case, we will have maybe per day we will have 100 transaction at least. So for
Yes.
those cases, if we wanted to see the exception, so this will be huge list. So
Mm-hmm.
we cannot find out in an easier manner. So what we can do is that we can filter it with the journal source, either
Okay.
by payable or receivable. So we will have it in parameter. So
Mm-hmm.
in parameter, we can segregate all those things and the period. So in this
Okay.
case, since we implemented or we configured this environment or this particular setup only
Mm-hmm.
on the October. So that is why I kept this as an October to November.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, based on the requirement, we can give that.
Okay.
And here, if you see, so we will have the event date and event IDs.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically the subledger SLA term, subledger accounting term. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever transaction that we are creating, either it is invoice, payment, or applying this payment, or credit memo, debit memo, or the prepayment application, everything is an event.
Mm-hmm.
So SLA will consider this as an event date and event type. So in this
Mm-hmm.
case, ours is payment. So payment we have just created it, but we didn't account this particular payment. So this is on 31st October. So
Okay.
this is our invoice number. So we can just
Mm-hmm.
take this invoice number and we can account this particular transaction. So it will also give us the bank account number and the other details.
Okay. So when it says generally unprocessed means what? It's like it didn't go
Not
through,
accounted.
not accounted. Okay. So we just need to go validate that.
No, we validated it. So only the accounting for this particular payment is missed out.
Okay. How does it get missed out? When
Like
you
you,
validate it, right? I mean, I'm assuming when you validate it, it just creates an accounting, right?
no, like that is for invoice. So I'll just show for the payment. So for payment, we will not have this validation. So we will complete the process. So
Hmm.
yeah. I think we left with the PPR.
Yeah, we did not complete that
Yeah.
payment thing completely. So that's why I'm lost.
Yeah. Correct. So this is still waiting for payment file processing. Okay, I'll take to this one, the payment page, and from there we can account this transaction. Yeah, we can see that post to GL.
Hmm.
Yeah, so now this is accounted. So this is liability to cash clearing.
Hmm.
So maybe let me check now. So I'll note down this number. So this is 6849.
142. No. Which one? Oh,
6849.
6849.
Yeah,
And
payment.
then you don't need this payment file reference number for anything. At the
File,
bottom, if you see.
um, where it,
Yeah, here to the right. If you
yeah.
see, there's payment file references
No,
142187.
this is only the reference number that is generated by the system. But
Okay.
our payment number is different actually. It is this one. If you see here
The
in the payment,
reference number there.
yeah.
Okay.
So this is for the payment file, the file that we are transmitting to the bank. So that will have
Okay.
one reference number, and for the payment, we will have one reference number. So
Okay.
in reports, we will be able to see this one.
Okay.
So it's not that we cannot capture this information. So we will have to customize the report.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just try to run the report again. So now we shouldn't see this transaction in the exception since we have processed it. So this is what I was saying, like the category
Mm-hmm.
source and the event will pop out based on this category that we are choosing.
Mm-hmm. And what is usually there in the journal category that we give?
Journal category will be like we have invoice, we have payment, like source will
Okay.
be payable or receivable. So based on this category will change.
Okay. Since you didn't select the source, that's why we're getting both payables and
Yeah,
receivables.
yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we
So
have
that
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is correct. So that's what
Okay.
all exception will be shown in this report.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's all about this particular report, and this will be ran before we close the period. So how this will process is like we will have period closed end of the day. So let's say today is 31st,
Mm-hmm.
30th of month. So
Mm-hmm.
today night, what we will do is that we will run this exception report for all the offices.
Mm-hmm.
So we will run for business unit auto, and we will run for steel, and we will run for consultancy for all the offices.
Okay.
So after we run, so we will notice that there are few exceptions that can be cleared immediately by
Mm-hmm.
taking some action with the help of
Mm-hmm.
user. So some action we might need to get help of Oracle. So for those
Okay.
cases, we will raise SR on a priority basis. When this is a
Okay.
production issue, Oracle will give 24/7 support.
Okay.
So especially for the period closure activities.
Okay.
So we can close it immediately. So again, we will run this report and we will verify. So this report should be always null and this exception count should be zero.
Okay.
So after this comes zero, so which means we will have a fixed time for it for the closing the period. So
Mm-hmm.
on this particular time, we will close the payable period. And before that, we have a few prerequisites like pushing the transaction to fixed asset module. And if you wanted to match the PO, so that
Mm-hmm.
invoice should be done. And the exception part and the other payments if you want to make. So this thing should be complete. So after this,
Okay.
we can close the payable period. So similarly,
Okay.
we will have it for the receivable period as well. So once these things are done, so what we will do is that we will close the GL period as well.
Okay.
So this
But
is
let's assume that you were not able to close it in a day or two.
okay.
you have so many exceptions, or there are exceptions that you are not able to fix. As you said, you wanted Oracle's help,
Yeah.
and let's assume they take some time to get that fixed. So, how usually what's the buffer time that you have to, for closing?
Yeah, this depends on the project that we are working. So I have seen two cases. So one case is that I can say three cases. So one case is on the education sector. So
Mm-hmm,
where we will have even 4 days or 5 days buffer time,
mm-hmm,
and the other one is like we will have maximum time of 1 hour. Within 1 hour, we should close the issues.
mm-hmm.
This is on the telecom, and
Okay.
another yeah, and another one is on the financial and banking. So where we will have a buffer time of 1 day. So within 1 day, we should close it. So this is completely on the SLA that we are agreeing to.
Okay, but what happens if there it is not closed and you can't close it? It's not like you don't want to close it. It's just that let's assume there are so many issues that you can't fix or you can't close. What happens in those cases? Any idea?
Yeah, so only option that we will have is sweep this program. So if business is not able to decide on what to do with this transaction, so we should sweep it to the next period. So
Okay.
on the first of next month, maybe we can decide like what should be done to this case. And apart
Okay.
from that, the other exceptions,
Mm-hmm,
so if it is with Oracle, we will get immediate help on this because
mm-hmm,
mostly it will be data fits or something. And
mm-hmm.
apart from that, there will be few things that can be handled by users. So
Okay.
user actions that we can only suggest it. So that will be on
Mm-hmm.
the user hand. So we cannot have control on that. So these
Okay.
are like business decisions, like how to take it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So ours is like we will have only one option. We will give the suggestion, and if business is not ready to take the suggestion given by us, we will ask them to
Mm-hmm.
sweep. If they
Okay.
are not okay for sweeping also, so it
Mm-hmm.
will be a kind of article. We will not be able to solve it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it based on the business to business.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what about the exception report, and maybe we can see the other part as well. So we can see the journals of the particular transaction. So I'll just
Mm-hmm.
navigate to invoice. So from here, if you see, we can just review the journal entries. So I'll just take one journal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me take this invoice. So here I can view two things. So one is on the journal summary. So in the summary page, I can see that this is, I mean, I can see the journal lines. So that is the
Mm-hmm.
expense code combination that system has generated. And I can see the liability that again system generated. And
Mm-hmm.
if I wanted to see the relevant transaction summary of this journal, so I can
Mm-hmm.
just click this tab and I can have the overview. And if I wanted to have the detailed understanding, maybe I
Mm-hmm.
can
View
just
transaction.
yeah. But
Okay.
basically here itself we will have this thing like if you
Mm-hmm.
see basically business wanted to understand the invoice and the amount paid or not paid. So this will be here itself. Like invoice amount is 2,500 and this is
Mm-hmm.
not paid and amount remaining is 2,500. If it is
Okay.
partially paid, we will have it partial.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is one part, and we will have the periods. Yeah. So here, if I wanted to open maybe the next period, so I can just click on this one, open current period.
Or the next period.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one option. So this will be done when we have strict control. Like there will be few cases where business will have a specific manager. So this manager will handle payable, receivable, and GL. So he will have entire control over it. So
Mm-hmm.
in this case, he will have the GL responsibility. So he can directly open from there. So we can
Mm-hmm.
restrict this particular function to the user. But
Okay.
here in this case, this is an understanding that this payable manager will open this period. So this is only for the payables. So we will not
Mm-hmm.
be able to open for the receivable or GL part.
In general, or is it, I mean, are you talking specifically to this?
Specific to business, I'm saying it. So if
Mm-hmm.
there is a case where a general manager who handles the entire finance, so we
Mm-hmm.
will give access to payables, receivable, and GL. So
Uh-huh.
for those cases, we will not need this particular person to handle the payable. So we can just
Yes.
assign the general accountant, and
Uh-huh.
he will be able to open or close all the relevant periods.
Okay.
So this will be applicable when this payable manager. So
Mm-hmm.
only he needs to have the control whether this period can be opened or closed. So that is
Okay.
when we will have this particular functionality, manage
Mm-hmm.
accounting periods.
Okay.
Yeah. And apart from that, create accounting, it is nothing but batch accounting. Maybe if you want to see, we can see.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah. So this is just a report. Like if you
Oh,
see,
this is a report?
yeah, like it will give us this one. I'll run one thing.
Okay.
Report in the sense after executing the work that we requested, so we will have the report. So I'll run for the Tata Auto
Mm-hmm.
OPT. So here, if you want to select either invoice or payment, we can select it.
Okay.
And the end date is like it is from as on date. So which means let's say I didn't account specific transactions from 1st
Mm-hmm.
of April to October
Okay.
or November.
Mm-hmm.
So system will pick the transaction from 1st of April till November, and it will
Mm.
process all the transactions.
Okay.
And here if you see we have draft or final. So draft it
Mm-hmm.
is nothing but it will remain only in the payable module
Mm-hmm.
and process all events. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like if some events are so events are again this is an SLA term. So if
Mm-hmm.
a particular event is in error, so if we wanted to have diagnostics, so we can enable this error events with diagnostics. Or if we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have all events to be considered, so we can just select all. So in this
Mm-hmm.
case, I'm selecting all. And report style, we can have it either summary or detail. So usually it will be detailed so that they will have the
Okay.
information. So I'll just submit this.
Mm-hmm. So when you say create accounting, right? So does it create accounting for the ones that were not created for? Is that what it does?
Yeah, is correct.
Okay. So if it, let's say we have already said validate on each of the invoices or the payments,
Yeah.
then it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. If we have validated for each and every invoice at the same time, so which means
Mm-hmm.
there is no transaction to be accounted. So
Yeah.
this will run as a null. So we will
Okay.
not have this child program itself, post subledger entries.
Okay. So if we have missed anything, that's when this can be done.
Yeah, is correct.
Okay. Oh, so it's almost like submit accounting.
Yeah, the same thing. Like create
Ah,
accounting is nothing but submit accounting.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So for payable, if you see, so we in exception already we saw that there are only one payment that is in unprocessed status. So
Mm-hmm.
system has picked only that particular transaction, and it is showing the related accounting entry.
Okay.
So we can see the description like it is for
Mm-hmm.
the payment, and the payment number is 6850.
Okay.
So now if we run this subledger exception report, so we will not see any exception in the payable module.
Okay.
Yeah. So here if you see, so this create accounting will have sub process as the
Mm-hmm.
child process. So that is import journal, and it will have the post subledger journal entries,
Mm-hmm.
and it will have maintain payable trial balance report.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it will have the final execution report.
Okay.
So we will have to be seen in the PDF copy of this particular report, execution report.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's all about the create accounting. And apart from that, we have this one, I think, prepayment.
Yeah, prepayment we have to see all through. So tell me something, when you entered that prepayment thing, right? How
Yeah.
did we get all the distribution combinations without entering anything?
Yeah, we are getting from the supplier side.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we are if we haven't entered in the supplier side, so basically we will get it from the common options that we are giving.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is on the prepaid expenses account, and
Mm-hmm.
this will be on the liability account.
Mm-hmm.
So unless we make the payment, so we will not be able to use this prepayment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just say pay in full. Maybe November is not open, I think.
Yeah. Tata Autopia. Yeah. So in this case, we need to make sure that both GL and payables is open.
Yeah, yes. If GL is closed, then we will be able to only make the transaction, but we cannot post it to GL.
GL, yeah.
Yeah, so now we can see this is available. Uh,
Hmm.
so I will create a new invoice and I'll try to apply to this.
Okay. Available means available to be applied. Is that what it means?
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, so I'll just click apply and or unapply prepayment. Yeah, this is the error that we saw on the other day, I think.
Yeah, it's like does nothing there.
Okay, maybe I'll try to check in a different instance.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, we'll just pause this one alone, the prepayment, and
Okay.
we can see the remaining part. Yeah, so
Okay.
apart from this, we have the recurring invoice. So
Mm-hmm.
see like how to process and why do we need this recurring invoice? So basically, the recurring invoice is nothing but like we have a few recurring bills like rent and electricity and the other things. So for
Okay.
this thing, so we might have maybe 300 to 400 vendors in few cases.
Mm-hmm.
So in this cases, so we cannot have it created manually. So
Mm-hmm.
what we will have to do is that we need an option where we can load it from the Excel sheet because the data that we will get it from the Excel sheet. So
Mm-hmm.
if we have the option to load it directly from the Excel sheet, so
Mm-hmm.
what we will do is that we will just change the columns and this thing, and we can load it directly in the application.
Okay.
So this is one of its purpose. So I'll just show like how this Excel-based recurring invoice will be processed. So I'll share the sheet.
Okay.
So this is our recurring invoice template. So we will select
Business
the
unit.
business unit. So start yeah.
Auto tray. So you can just enter the invoice number. You don't have to have a pre number from somewhere.
No, we
You're just
don't.
creating it
Yeah,
basically here.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if I got the setup, so we need to create a calendar for this. Uh,
Oh.
so I'll just put one calendar.
Mm-hmm. So this should have a specific calendar, or can we not use any calendar that's out there?
Like for this, we will have something called special calendar. Uh,
Oh,
so we will have to define this calendar to use the recurring invoices.
okay. And this calendar that we define normally is in the GL itself, right?
Yeah, is correct.
Okay. Or manage payable calendars. That's all.
It is, I think I cannot use this one. Let me create a new calendar. Yeah.
But this
So
was never part of the setup itself, right?
yeah, this is not part of the setup.
Hmm. So this is only specific to recurring.
Yeah, correct. This is only for
Okay.
the recurring invoices.
Okay. So it doesn't impact any other thing.
Yeah, yeah, it will not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. We have the others are this thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll just take the supplier number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here we will have the supplier number.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just take this and I'll put it in the sheet and I'll load this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have filled the required basic information. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
just say generate. So this will generate the invoices.
Correct the errors. Hmm. The value of attribute from period isn't valid. Oh, maybe the periods aren't open until December. Is that why?
Yeah, I'm thinking same thing. So
Hmm. Hmm. Maybe October, if you make it, it'll be faster, I think. Or is it the calendar itself?
calendar, I don't think we have issue. Maybe the date format is issue or what, I don't know. Uh, data entry issue. So this is actually the period. So I'll just take,
Oh, just that. Okay.
yeah,
Just Jan and October.
yeah, yeah, I was giving the date instead of, yeah. So here we can see that it has created for all 10 months.
Uh-huh.
So on the respective period, maybe we can just pick the invoice and we can process for the payment.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it on the recurring.
So it comes, hold on, you just clicked on that and it came to manage invoices. And if you want to make the payment, you just go to the payments and then do it. Where is that number? Uh,
Yeah. Like I'll edit it and I will validate this invoice as a normal process. I'll validate and I will make the payment.
oh, from here itself,
Yeah.
not from the payment.
Yeah. Yeah. Distribution variables. Yeah. The account code didn't generate. So I didn't attach the distribution cert. I will add it manually.
Mhm. Oh, you could have done this in the report, I mean, in that Excel itself.
Yeah, yeah. I could have given there, but I didn't attach. So it came without account code combination actually.
Okay.
So from here, I'll just make the payment.
Okay.
So this is normal process. I'll just make one payment. Yeah. So the payment number is 6852.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, on the respective period, we can make the payment.
Okay. So for this one, you can either pay from here or you can pay from the payment itself, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll move to next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So apart from this, so we have this one. I mean, this is a regular one. So I'm just showing it. So
Okay.
if we wanted to validate invoices as a bulk, so we can
Okay.
use this program. So this will basically fix all unvalidated invoices and it will validate.
Okay.
And apart from that, we have invoice creation using the spreadsheet.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, the screen is visible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this will be our template to load the invoices. So when we will know need this particular format is that when we have the data migration activities, or if
Mm-hmm.
we have regular invoices that we will be importing from the third party application. So let's say we have two different applications. So maybe the
Mm-hmm.
legacy hasn't retired yet. So what
Mm-hmm.
we will do is that we will get AP feed as a part of coexistence strategy that we have
Mm-hmm.
taken. So for those
Okay.
cases, what we can do is that we can just use this template to load the
Mm-hmm.
invoices into our application. So
Okay.
this is one option. And the other scenario where we will use the template is for the data migration.
Mm-hmm.
So in GL, we saw that we will migrate the trial balance. So for that, we had this one FBDA template. So using
Mm-hmm.
FBDA template, we loaded journals and we verified like how it is reflecting in the balances.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, here we have a few data migration activities. So here we will load the open invoices. So there are two approach for the data migration. So whether we wanted to have only the open invoices or we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have let's say 5 year data. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
let's say in a rare case we will have vendors that will be paying at least for 1 or 2 years. So we have
Mm-hmm.
given enough this thing to our vendors. So in this case, if we will be paying maybe in a 1 year, so we might need this invoices pertaining to this 1 year or 2 year to have a record in case dispute is coming in future date. So we
Mm-hmm.
will need the data. So for that, what we will do is that we will take the data for the last 2 years.
Okay.
But for those cases, this approach will not be applicable because for those cases, we will import all the invoices pertaining to the 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
irrespective of the status, whether it is open, closed, or partially paid. So for all the
Mm-hmm.
cases, we will import it. So for those cases, we will have few performance issues in this template. So
Okay.
we will use the FBDA template. So using
Okay.
FBDA template, so we will not have those performance issues. So we
Mm-hmm.
can easily load even the 50,000 records at a go. So that is one option. And the second option is to use the AFPDA. So
Mm-hmm.
that is the option we are looking into. So here we will basically load the open invoices and we will load the prepayment. So why we will need prepayment is that, let's say I have paid 10,000 to the vendor.
Mm-hmm.
So in case I haven't imported the prepayment invoices, so which means I don't have record of the 10,000 which I paid to the vendor.
Mm-hmm.
So I will have to make the payment manually. So for those cases, what we will do is that we will import the prepayment as well.
Okay.
So here, the one restriction that we have is that we can import only the invoices. We cannot import the payments because if you see technically, we have only open invoice interface, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't have the payment interface. So that is the
Mm-hmm.
reason we will not be able to import the payments. So
Mm-hmm.
for the invoices, since we are taking only the open invoices, we will not have any issues at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas for the prepayment, unless we make the payment, we will not be able to use it for the invoice to adjust it for the one or two invoices, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So for this cases, what we will need to do is that, so we will have to import the prepayment and we will have to make the payments manually.
Mm.
So this is the only option that we have. So we can say kind of a drawback all the manual entry for the consultant who is implementing this product. So this will
Mm-hmm.
be a manual work from this end.
Okay.
So basically, these are the things that we will do in the data migration and while deciding the strategy, like how to handle our data migration. So these
Mm-hmm.
are the key points that we will keep in mind before going for the strategy finalization.
Okay. So in case of prepayments, you said basically what we will be doing is we'll first import the or create the invoices.
No, we will not
No,
create it, we will import it.
we will import it. We'll import the invoices, then the payments again we have to import.
No, payment we cannot import it. So payment we will have to do it manually.
So payment we are doing, whether even if it's a prepayment, you have to do it manually.
I mean, you are asking for the invoice payment or the prepayments payment?
Let's say prepayments payment for now.
Yeah, prepayments payment, we will have to make it manually. So
Everything
for
has
the,
to be manual.
yeah,
Okay.
so prepayments payment, we will have to do it manually because we don't have any open interfaces in place for the payments. So this is a
Okay.
manual option. So for the invoice payment,
Uh-huh.
what we are doing is that as a standard approach, we will take only the open invoices to
Okay.
avoid the what do you call the load in the system or to have a better performance
Mm-hmm.
and also in terms of having huge data volume in the application. So we
Mm-hmm.
will avoid this strategy and we will have open invoices alone instead of having as
Okay.
a whole.
Okay.
Yeah, so for those cases, if you see, we will not consider payment because whatever the invoices that is paid, so we are not even considering. So we are considering only the open invoice. So open invoice is nothing but unpaid invoices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the payment part we will see only for the prepayment.
Okay. So now now that let's say we have let's say 1,000 invoices
Okay.
we are importing, and we have these which I mean you're using this spreadsheet to upload, I mean load these into the system,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So then afterwards for the payment, do we have anything like this to load and do it in a bulk? No, right?
No, we don't have for payment.
So how do you do that? You have to go do it individually for each payment, each invoice payment?
Yeah. We have two options here. So one is to pick a manual way of what do you call paying manually
Mm-hmm.
for each invoice, or we can use the payment batch. So it is suggested to use the payment batch
Okay.
because doing each invoice is not an easier task because if you
I know it's
see,
a pain.
yeah, so it is like invoice will be huge in some double digit thousands. So
Yeah,
we
okay.
cannot do it manually.
So if can you do two invoices on this and do a payment batch?
Yeah, yes, we can do.
Yeah, but then
Just a minute. Oh, just a
Oh, we
minute.
wanted to do one more.
Yeah, yeah. Forgot it. I'll load it once again.
Import payable invoices. So did the first one get loaded?
No, I terminated terminated in middle actually.
Okay, okay.
Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is our invoices.
Mm-hmm.
So we have imported it. So I'll just validate it. Yeah, similarly, I'll take the other invoices. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so these invoices are validated. So we will
Mm-hmm.
run a batch payment.
Okay.
Yeah, this payment file will not get generated, I think. So maybe we can check till this one,
Mm-hmm.
uh, till it selects the invoice.
Okay.
I think I didn't give the review, so system is taking automatically.
What is it? Review?
Yeah, review. I didn't give it actually. So I said directly create the payment file. So that is why it's not allowing me. So let me create this one.
So date basis, you want to leave it as pay date or due date?
Yeah, that is this one due date. So I need to change it. Yeah. So I'll just pick these two invoices
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say submit. Yeah. So these are the two invoices that we have selected.
Mm-hmm.
I think from here it will not move. So only step that is pending for us is after building the payment. So we will
Mm-hmm.
have the status as confirmed. So
Okay.
once we see this, so we can extend this box and we can download the payment file from here. So
Okay.
the format that we used is this one bank transfer request, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be our format, and there we can see there are two invoices selected.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why this is hanging. So this is not processing ahead actually. But if you see, we can see that two
Two
invoices
got
are
selected.
yeah, yeah. maybe I'll try to process this. Uh, Maybe I'll check tomorrow because I don't know why this is
Okay.
hanging.
So we'll have the class tomorrow same time?
Yeah, tomorrow also we'll have same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and apart from that, what else is there?
Mm, something like what is that cross currency something? Whatever was that? I don't know.
This one. No.
No, I think something create cross currency payment or something.
Yeah, we have. Yes, we can see that.
And open invoice conversion process.
Yeah, the open invoice process, it is like um, it is just loading the invoices, like basically. I don't have the test date also.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be able to explain only the process actually.
Okay,
Uh,
explain it tomorrow. That's fine. How about supplier refund?
Supplier refund, we will have it as a part of this one, receivable. Or you are saying the normal refund that we are getting.
I have no clue. I'm just looking at your accounts payable thing. That's all. I have no idea.
Yeah, just 1 minute. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the supplier conversion, we can see that. So what we will see is that so we can use this FBDI and
Mm-hmm.
we can see a few invoices. So supply, I mean, the conversion is nothing but we will load the open invoices. Open invoices in the sense we will load only the invoices. Like we use this spreadsheet, right? So similarly,
Mm-hmm.
we will see few invoices, and that is our understanding. Those are open invoices.
Okay.
So that's it on the conversion. So apart from that, we will see the vendor loading. So
Okay.
as a part of conversion, so we will do two things. So one is on the invoice part. Invoice, we can say invoice or the prepayment application, and the other part is the supplier conversion. So we will load all the vendors. So
But what is supplier refund itself?
no, refund is what the credit memo or debit memo.
Oh, that is what it is. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't understand exactly. Like,
No, no. The reason I picked that because it was there in one of your topics, so I don't know what that means. Um,
yeah, refund is nothing but this one. Did I mention in payables?
yeah, it's in payables. It's under payables.
Uh, I think I mentioned it because the payment or request will be coming to AP module. Okay, I'll just explain it. Like, what will happen? So,
Okay.
so we have a customer. So
Mm-hmm.
customer has procured for maybe 10,000. So there are two chances. So one is to have it refunded and the other is to have it in on hold. So on hold
Mm-hmm.
is something like an our wallet. So if you take Amazon, so Amazon will have its own wallet. So maybe in future time we can utilize it. So that
Mm-hmm.
we say on account.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part is this one, the refund. So it will be processed through AP. So what will happen is that from AR we will process the refund. So we have an option called issue refund. So from there,
Mm-hmm.
our request will be raised to payment module or the payables. So
Mm-hmm.
here we will pick this particular payables, and what we will do is that we will make the payment. So that is what I might have mentioned it. Maybe I'll check it. If I have mentioned, I'll check that once, and maybe we can see it tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, not a problem. I was just saying. Okay. Yeah. So, so tomorrow 7:30. I mean, my time and yours is 7, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, fine. Then we'll
Okay.
meet it tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
yeah.
Bye.
Thanks.